How many questions have you attempted? Like, जो लोग कॉन्टेस्ट दिए हो वो लाइक कितने क्वेश्चंस किए हैं? ठीक है, हम पहला क्वेश्चन से शुरू करते हैं. Like the first question is about like taking three parameters n, l, and r, and what should we have to do is like we have to reverse the numbers between n and r. Nth position and rth position, we have to reverse the elements in between them, and also the n and rth elements also. Like here we can see like we are taking positions 1 and 10, and we are reversing 1 and 10 also. We are reversing whole array. Like this is the our answer array. And one thing we have to observe is like they haven't given the input array. Like we have to assume like the initial number is 1 and the secondary number is 2 and the tertiary number is 3 and so on. Like we have to like the array is like n numbers, not natural n numbers. So what we have to do is like what we have to do is we have to take n, l, n, r are the inputs, and we have to initialize a vector. And for each vector, like we know that the in C++ language, the array is zero based indexing. So what we are doing is taking I plus one value, so that we get array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so on. Like now, like do you know STL, right? like like a function, function like yeah, like we will use the same header file. Like every inbuilt function will be almost in this header file. This is the STL function for reversing the numbers. And in this function what we have to do is we have to give two iterators, like not positions, but we have to give the iterator. So what we are doing is like I have taken an iterator variable. Like for iterator variable you can do two things. Like you can take iterator, like you can take iterator, and you can take auto also, or auto. Like you can take any of them, but you have to take an iterator and put them simply in these two brackets, like from the starting position and ending position of the part of the array you want to shuffle. Like the reverse STL function takes two parameters, and the two parameters are two iterators, where one iterator is at array of the begin plus L minus R because of one based indexing, and the second iterator is array dot begin plus r. So what we are doing is we are simply applying an STL function reverse and giving two iterators as its parameters. It it will shuffle the array for us, and we are just printing the output later words. Like this is clear, right? Like what you have said in the comment section is like we can do that one also. Like, but I am targeting the main objective of the question, right? They asked us to shuffle us the values in the array, but like what you are doing is you are printing in that style. Like it isn't like it is also right, but like what I am doing is like they have asked, like this is an in the contest you can do like this type of approach, like in normal, like during the submission of like in platforms like lead code or like problem solving sets, you have to like you have to give the array as a return value. So then what do you have to do is you have to arrange the values, like you have to use reverse. Okay, I think it's understandable right now. Like the auto variables and the way I have initialized that l minus 1 and the second one is only r, like it is understandable, right? Because uh, like it ignores the last element. It ignores the last element and it performs operations between the range which exactly needed. Okay, like now I think I can proceed to the next question. Like first tell me this thing, like the problem statement is clear for the question number 2. Like what the question asking is, like say he has like m number of nutrients and he has to satisfy particular number of there are m nutrients, and what they are asking is like there are m nutrients, and for each nutrient you have to get the respective quantity out of them. Like you have for first nutrient you have to at least get a1 quantity, and for mth nutrient you have to get at least get am quantity, am units. Like like they are saying like we can assume he eat n foods, like each food contain different number of nutrients, and let us assume that these are the respective quantities of the nutrients, these are the respective quantities of the m nutrients in each food. So that in this sequence they have given the nutrients value in each of the food for n foods. Like this will make like n into n cross m matrix. Here 2 into 3 is the 2 into 3 is the size of the matrix. Here 20, 0, 10, 0, 100, 100. This is the size of the data, and data where the nutrients in the foods are represented, and this is the array which is telling us like minimum the it should bypass this number of units for each array. So what we have to do is we have to parallelly add the values in the each column. Like for this first like for this first nutrient we have to add 20 plus 0. You have to add 0 plus 100. Like you have to add the values in each respective column because each column represents the number of nutrients he has intaken. The value of the number of units but for a nutrient is represented in a column. So what do we have to do is we have to add the all values in a column and check with the respective value of the nutrient in the initial array, and if any of the nutrient is deficient, that is the sum array is less than the a of a, we have to give no. If it is passes all, then we have to print yes. Like okay, this is the code for it. Like पहले हम दो वेरिएबल्स ले रहे हैं n, and like after that we have taking the minimum value of the each nutrients in a array called a capital A, and after that we are taking the data. What is the data? Like number of the nutrients in each food, and all of the nutrients in each all of the nutrients in each food up to n foods. So here we are like that is respectively m values in each of the n, so that like n cross m. So like first loop should iterate n times, and later it should each of the loop should contain values. So n cross m matrix. So we have taken a 2D matrix, and later we are calculating the sum of values in each column. How do we do that? We are taking like j is like we are taking I constant for each of the j value. And J constant and varying, like J constant, and we are making I vary, because what do we have to vary is the rows, and we have to keep the column constant, because we have to add the all of the values of a particular nutrients in all food and later compare it to the original array value. Later what we are doing is we are we are checking if this is check part. This is the checking part where we are checking if the sum of all you the sum of the nutrients in all of the foods is whether less than the expected value or not. If it is less than, we are printing no, and after checking the whole array, if it satisfies the all values, then we are printing yes. Like this part is clear, right? We have divided the, like basically this is the solution part, like this some consideration. Calculation of units of each nutrient. This is the main part of the code, and remaining is like taking the input formally and checking the check part. Like I think this part and this part like didn't trouble you much. I think this is the only part you have to keep careful, and like this values sum of j plus or is equal to data of I comma j. Like we are keeping the element same, but how we are varying is like we are taking j variable in the first loop and I variable in the second loop. That's how we are varying number of rows by keeping the column constant. I think you get it right. Like, do you understand the solution for the second question? Okay. Any doubts in the second question? Okay. I think now Sushmita will take over for the third question. Uh,
Am I audible to all? Please notify. Hello. Okay, so first tell me how many of you tried the third question, the keys one. कितने लोगों ने ट्राई किया? हैंड रेज कर सकते हो, चैट बॉक्स में लिख सकते हो. Okay, so Sonak, you have asked that iOS sync with Studio. That is used for the fast input taking and all that. कभी कभार क्या होता है ना कि इनपुट में जो कंस्ट्रेंट्स रहता है, तो वी कैन नॉट डील विद दैट सिंपल सी इन सी आउट. ओके, तो लाइक इनपुट आउटपुट के ऊपर कंपटीशन और वो इनपुट लेना को अगर फास्ट करना, देन वी यूज दिस iOS काइंड ऑफ थिंग. ओके, इज दैट क्लियर? Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Agar if someone solved this third question, then they can share their approach in chat box. Okay. And even if you failed, you can share your approach here. We will try to debug it as much as possible. So coming to the question, पहले question समझते हैं. You have n keys numbered, that is 1 to dot 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 n. Some of these are real keys, while some of them are dummies. There is a door X into which you can insert any number of keys. Door X will open if and only if at least key real keys are inserted. So ये point note कर लेना है कि at least k real keys होने चाहिए. And if you have conducted m test on these keys, the ith test went as follows. You inserted CI keys and basically कि तुम्हारे पास n keys है and तुम्हें अगर test run करना है, then you have played n number of test. Okay, so जो test ये लोग input में provide करे वो कुछ इस format में. You have inserted CI keys, ये इन सब के result दिए हुए into door X. The test result represented by the single letter RI, that is RI equal to O means the door X is opened in the ith test. RI equal to X means the door X is not opened in the ith test. So basically अगर इनके फॉर्मेट में देखा जाए तो हर एक टेस्ट के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग इन्होंने एक नंबर दिया है, दैट इज द नंबर ऑफ की वी हैव इंसर्टेड एंड द कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग रिजल्ट विद इट कि ये खुला है कि नहीं, whether the test was succeeded or not. So one of the way in which we can solve this question is called bit masking. So what we can do is that बिट मास्किंग एक प्रोसीजर है कि उसमें काइंड ऑफ हम मास्किंग का बेसिकली मीन क्या होता है कि हम किसी भी कॉम्बिनेशन किसी भी टर्न को हम लोग टैग कर रहे हैं. तो नॉर्मली अगर तुम ब्रूट फोर्स लेके अगर सोचो तो इसमें हमें क्या करना है कि इन्होंने बोला एटलीस्ट के कीज लगेंगे हमें, तो फिर हम एज अ के को लिमिट पकड़ के देन उसके बाद वी कैन टेक द टोटल नंबर ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशन द पॉसिबल के कॉम्बिनेशन एंड देन ट्राई इट आउट कि जो गिवन केसेस है दैट सेटिस्फाई दिस और नॉट. सो बेसिकली बोलने का मतलब क्या है कि let's say is sample input 1 में it's given that key number 1 2 3, if we apply these three keys as a test, then the door opens. But if we apply 2 or 3, the door doesn't opens. तो हमें इन 2 केसेस को लेकर वो नंबर ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशन जो पॉसिबल हो सकता है कि वो डोर को ओपन करे, तो हमें वो निकालना है। सो व्हाट वी कैन डू इज़ दैट, लेट्स से कि अकॉर्डिंग टू द क्वेश्चन जो हमें मिला है in sample input 1, what we can do is that we uh, like there were 3 keys at max, right? So what we can do is that we can take these 3 keys and we can represent them as 3-bit integer number, 3-bit binary numbers. Okay, so if I represent this as 0, 0 and 0, ये केस वो है जिसमें मैंने एक डोर में कोई भी की नहीं डाला है, ना ही नंबर, नॉट इवन द सिंगल कीज. ओके, नाउ इफ आई राइट दिस वन 0, 0 एंड 1, सो ये जो बाइनरी नंबर ये कौन से टेस्ट केस को शो करता है? दिस शोज द टेस्ट केस इन विच आई हैव ट्राइड की नंबर 3 ऑन द डोर. ओके, नाउ इफ आई राइट दिस वन sequence wise, so this test case represent the case in which I have tried key number 2 on the door. Okay, now simply essay, like we will go on until we will hit this number, that is 111. Okay, so this will basically represent the basically represent the test case in which we have tried all of these all of the 3 keys. Now iske corresponding, let's say I have made a table true or false, okay, of validity. Like we will test one by one whether these cases are valid or not to the given condition. So let's go through it. So if I say कि मैंने इनमें से कोई भी की यूज नहीं किया, then the door should open or not. Okay, so among these things, like if अगर मैंने कोई की यूज नहीं किया होता, okay, this one satisfies but this doesn't. Okay, if अगर कोई की यूज ना करने से डोर ओपन होता है, then there should not be any x corresponding to any test, right? So that means it is not valid. So I will simply put false in front of it. Okay, now let's consider this cases that is 001. इसका मतलब कि लेट्स से कि की 3 है and we have to say whether it's a valid case or not. So की नंबर 3 से अगर की 3 एक्चुअली में रियल की होता, सॉरी, की 3 एक्चुअली में रियल की होता, देन उसके देन ये डोर ओपन तो हो रहा है लेकिन इस केस में भी ओपन होना चाहिए था, बट इट डज नॉट. देन ऑब्वियसली वी विल टैग इट एज like not valid. Okay, so we will tag it as false. Now for the next case, that is 010, 010. Okay, then in this case if we see that the key number 2, it is opening, like it is opening the door. Okay, but here also it contradicts, so we will tag it as false. So ऐसे ही सिंपली हम लोग करते जाएंगे एंड द नंबर ऑफ केसेस लाइक इट satisfied, we will put true in front of it. So this is clear or not to everyone? Is this clear? Like how we are masking the numbers? Okay. ओके, सो सिंपली हम लोग क्या करें कि हर टेस्ट केस के ऊपर एक बिट नंबर हम लोग असाइन कर दे रहे हैं and then we are checking the validity of that test case. Okay, now the thing is that I need to find अब इनको किसी array या फिर किसी vector में store भी करना पड़ेगा, so I need to find the length of that vector. So let's say there are m number of keys or k number of keys, then what will be the length of the vector? Can anyone tell? Let's say there are k number of keys and I have to represent a vector which contains all the possible combination that I need to make for the test cases. So yeah, so the possible length that I require is the 2 to the power k. 2 to the power k length. Now the basic logic is that I will make that vector of length 2 to the power k, and I will store all sort of combination of key that is possible. And according to the question, according to the test cases that are given in the input, I will check. I will make another array of validation and put the true and false accordingly. And once true or false उसमें आ गए, then we can count the number of true in it, means number of test cases जितने possible है ना. ये तो वो जो रिजल्ट है, लाइक दैट इज नॉट द फाइनल रिजल्ट वी विल से, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन में ये बोला गया है कि एटलीस्ट हमें के रखना है. सो ऐसे भी केसेस हो सकते हैं जहाँ पर डोर ओपन हो रहा है, लेकिन तुम्हारी नंबर ऑफ कीज जिसमें तुम्हारे कंसिडर हो रहे हैं वो के से कम हो. एंड ऐसे भी केसेस है जहाँ पर डोर तुम्हारे ओपन नहीं हो रहा है, बट नंबर ऑफ टेस्ट केसेस उस केस में तुम्हारे आइदर के इक्वल हो या फिर आइदर के बाहर के से बड़ा हो. सो फिर ऐसे टेस्ट केसेस को हमें एलिमिनेट करना होगा. ओके, सो इन ऑर्डर टू चेक दैट वी विल पुट 2 more conditions, and then after that we will finally put out the result. Now coming to the code, let's see. Okay, so according to input, जिस फॉर्मेट में दिया गया था दैट इज NMK, उसे एज ए इनपुट लिया है, एंड देन उसके बाद एक वेक्टर बना है पेयर और कैरेक्टर्स का. ओके, देन उसी के पेयर और कैरेक्टर्स में यहाँ पर कैरेक्टर में तुम्हारा वो इनपुट होगा कि वेदर द डोर ओपनड और नॉट, एंड देयर विल बी अ वेक्टर ऑफ ऑल द टेस्ट केसेस दैट हैड बीन डन. नाउ जो बोला गया था कि I guess you guys know about the right shift and the left shift. Okay, so यहाँ basically किया क्या है, like what this false statement mean actually. इसमें जो combination है that is like जो n है, okay, like 0 to 2 to the power n तक, sorry, yeah, जो नंबर ऑफ कीज है उसके लिए लाइक 2 to the power नंबर ऑफ कीज इतने सारे टेस्ट केसेस लग रहे हैं. तो बेसिकली वो क्या करे कि 0 से लेके 2 to the power n तक सारे पॉसिबिलिटीज को यहाँ पर इकट्ठा कर दे रहे हैं, एंड देन उसके बाद ये कॉम्बिनेशन उसके अकॉर्डिंगली वैलिडेशन नहीं, बट वो सारे टेस्ट केसेस ले रहे हैं जो शो किया गया था. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यहाँ पर जैसे कि हम लोग यहाँ पर सारे के सारे कॉम्बिनेशन कंसीडर तो कर रहे हैं, बट वी नीड टू सी विच इनपुट्स आर प्रोवाइडेड टू अस. ओके, सो वी नीड टू मार्क दैट आउट. जैसे कि 1 2 3, यहाँ पर हम 1 1 1 को मार्क करेंगे, एंड देन उसके बाद 2 3 को मार्क करना है. देन वी हैव टू सी दैट केसेस. तो दैट्स वाई ये वाला लाइन लगा है यहाँ पर. ओके, सो like you don't need to worry about this shifting kind of thing. It's basically represent that sort of arrangement. Okay, and then we check the combination validation. Okay, now returning to this function that is a combination, we check कि either ये जो combination है we did this k minus 1. Okay, this k minus 1 basically represent क्योंकि हम लोग जो possibility है वो 0 से start करें, not from 1, so we have to reduce it like by 1. Okay, then अगर ये true हुआ then we will increment that real key count. Okay, so this is basically the counting the number of validation that are true. And finally जो हम लोग का जो मेन केस है कि के साथ कंपैटिबल है या नहीं, तो वो चेक करना होगा. अगर वो कंपैटिबल नहीं हुआ then it will return false, and if it is मतलब combination possible है then it will return true. So if the validation is completed then it will accordingly increment the valid combination, and we will be giving the valid combination as an output. So I guess this is clear. Okay, may I know at what portion you got confused? You can write in the chat box. Okay, so ये जो for loop in this for loop, ये जो इसका जो internal for loop है, this is for taking all sort of combinations. Okay, लाइक पहले हम लोगों ने जो डिस्कस किया था 0 0 0 0 0 1 2 to the power k टोटल लेंथ का जो वेक्टर होगा, वो टोटल नंबर ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशन हम लोगों ने यहाँ पर डिसाइड किए, प्लस वो कॉम्बिनेशन जो मतलब इनपुट के अकॉर्डिंगली वैलिड है या नहीं। ठीक है, दिस इज क्लियर। लाइक जो इंटरनल फॉर लूप था उसका क्या यूज था, इज दिस क्लियर? Okay. See, these were the possibilities, right? 0 0 0 0 1, like this bit masking kind of thing. So, like from where you will get these? From what we will do is that the total number of keys were n that you can use. Okay, so shifting one and this means the right shift. Okay, it means you are shifting one by n bits. So doing this only, you are considering all the bits combination. Okay, that 2 to the power n you told, right? So this was the total combination they were gaining. But the thing is that you need to consider each cases, like key number 1 use हो रहा है कि नहीं, key number 2 या 3 use हो रहा है कि नहीं. So how will you recognize that? By that, this is the procedure you will recognize that thing. Okay, is this clear? Still confusing? Yeah, kind of. Okay, so like testing for each test case, we are representing that number, and we are setting accordingly it's true or not according to the inputs that are provided. Okay. um ये काइंड ऑफ बोल सकते हो तुम वैसा. Yeah. Okay, so moving on. So I hope this is clear. Okay. ओके, सो मूविंग ऑन कि ये तो हो गया लाइक नंबर ऑफ पॉसिबिलिटीज स्टोर करने के लिए. नाउ वी नीड टू चेक नाउ वी नीड टू वैलिडेट दोज कॉम्बिनेशन वेदर दीज आर पॉसिबल और नॉट. ओके, सो इनपुट में हमने क्या किया है कि उनमें से जो भी पॉसिबल कॉम्बिनेशन है वो एक इनपुट में जाएगा, देन टेस्ट, एंड देन के इज द लीस्ट कंडीशन दैट वी नीड. ओके, सो टेस्ट में क्या है कि टेस्ट में बेसिकली जो रिजल्ट है दैट द डोर ओपनड और नॉट रिप्रेजेंटिंग बाय ओ एंड एक्स, सो दैट विल बी देयर, एंड जो जो इनपुट पॉसिबिलिटीज उन लोगों ने दी थी. ओके, एज तो फिर वो दोनों इसमें कंटेंट है. तो in order to access that, we will make one array that is named as used key, and we will store that possibility in that, and then we will make another variable result, and we will store whether the door opened or not and store that in result. Okay, now अभी क्या करेंगे कि जो यूज्ड कीज है उसमें से जो देखेंगे कि वो कॉम्बिनेशन के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग में वैलिडेशन में ट्रू या फॉल्स लिखा था या नहीं. लाइक यहाँ पर जैसे कि शो किया है कि हर पॉसिबिलिटी के कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग में ट्रू या फॉल्स हमने लिखा है अकॉर्डिंग टू द इनपुट दैट इज प्रोवाइडेड, राइट. तो फिर हम ये चेक करेंगे कि जितना भी पॉसिबिलिटी दिखाया गया था यूज्ड की में उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग ट्रू कितने एंड फॉल्स कितने. ठीक है, एंड वंस वी कैलकुलेट दैट, जितने नंबर ऑफ ट्रू होंगे उतने नंबर ऑफ रियल कीज को हम इंक्रीमेंट करेंगे. ओके, इज दिस क्लियर? This is clear, right? Like the number of real keys combination, how we are getting that. सिर्फ एक ट्रायल में नहीं, द देखो यहाँ पर क्या किया था कि दीज आर द यूज्ड कीज, ओके। यूज्ड कीज का मतलब जो जो हमें इनपुट में मिला था, इनपुट में हमने ये सब ट्राई किया था, राइट। लाइक इन द फर्स्ट केस वी ट्राई 1 2 3। सो हमें ये चेक करना पड़ेगा ना कि ये वैलिड है या नहीं, तो इसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग हम कॉम्बिनेशन में चेक करेंगे कि इसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग ये ट्रू था या फॉल्स, विच वी सेट इन दिस वे, ओके। एंड अगर ये वैलिडेट करते देन वी विल इंक्रीमेंट द रियल कीज। इज दिस क्लियर? ओके, सो वंस हमें रियल कीज मिल गया, वी नीड टू चेक द कंडीशंस अकॉर्डिंग टू द इनपुट दैट आर ट्रू और नॉट। क्योंकि पहले कुछ पॉसिबिलिटीज हो सकती कि डोर ओपन किया बट द रियल कीज वी काउंटेड इज लेस देन के, ओके। सिमिलरली इन सेकेंड केस, सो वी नीड टू सी वेदर ये जो रियल कीज का जो वैल्यू आया है, ये दोनों कंडीशन को लाइक अवॉइड कर रहे हैं कि नहीं। इफ दे आर नॉट अवॉइडिंग देन this is not a valid combination, then we will return false. Or else if it avoids these sort of condition, then we will return true. This is clear? ये क्वेश्चन में कुछ एक केस दिया था के रिलेटेड, तो उसके कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग इसे एडजस्ट किया गया। So there should not be any confusions. So once ये अगर true हुआ, like this was the whole condition that was asked in the question, तो अगर ये true हुआ, then we will increment this valid combinations, and in the end इस loop के end में हमें number of valid combinations मिल जाएगा, and we will take that as an output. Okay, so this was the whole procedure. I hope it's clear. So if you want to test this, then these are the inputs that were given, and if you run this, so why there will be two combinations that are possible, okay. So I hope the procedure is clear now. If people who are unable to solve this, now you know the logic, you can try out this on your own. So किसी को कोई डाउट नहीं है ना? There's no doubt, right? The thing is that during the combination we started from 0 0 0, right? Like एक हमने एक पॉसिबिलिटी कंसिडर किया था कि कोई भी की हम लोग यूज नहीं करेंगे, ओके। सो ये ओरिजिनली क्वेश्चन में वो कंसिडर नहीं किया गया था। दैट्स वाई उनके जो कीज की पॉसिबिलिटी है, दैट विल ऑलवेज बी बाय ग्रेटर देन बाय वन वैल्यू फ्रॉम आर वैल्यूज, because of the indexing type of issues. Like we started from 0, right? But they didn't. That's why हमें combination में से key 1 minus करना पड़ा. Combination of keys minus 1. This is clear? Okay, so there are no doubts. Okay, then stop sharing my screen.